Come in. Your calm English journey begins.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Calm English Studio. I'm Emma.
And I'm Leo. Thanks for spending your time with us today. We're really glad you're here.
So, Leo, can I start with something funny? Every week, someone messages me saying, I've been studying English for 5 years, but when I try to speak, my brain disappears.
Oh, yes. That message shows up in my inbox too. And the person always writes it like it's some rare, mysterious problem.
Right? But the more learners I talk to, the more I realize this is everyone's problem.
Totally. You watch English videos, you understand most things, you even think in English sometimes. But then someone asks, "So, what do you do?" And suddenly your brain is like, "Sorry, I don't work under pressure."
Exactly. And learners think it means they're bad at English. But no, your vocabulary didn't run away. Your grammar didn't disappear. You're just nervous. You're human.
People forget that speaking is not only about language, it's also about confidence, timing, habit, and honestly, a little bit of courage.
Courage. I like that word. Because speaking a new language does feel scary sometimes. It's like stepping onto a tiny stage, even if it's just one person listening.
Exactly. But here's one thing I wish every learner heard on their first day. Making mistakes is completely normal. Staying silent is the only real problem.
Oh, that's good. Say it one more time.
All right, mistakes are normal. Silence is the problem.
Perfect. So, in today's episode, we're going to talk about why speaking feels so hard, even after years of studying, and what you can actually do to fix that.
Yep, and let's start with the biggest troublemaker of all, fear. So, let's talk about fear. Because honestly, fear is the biggest reason people don't speak. Not grammar, not vocabulary, not pronunciation, fear.
Yeah, and it's not even loud fear. It's not like, I'm terrified. It's more like this tiny, quiet voice in your head saying, don't say it. You might sound silly.
Right. It's the same voice that shows up when someone asks you something simple like, "Hey, how's your day?" And suddenly your mind is like, "Error, system overloaded, please restart."
And the funny thing is, you know the answer. You totally know how to say, I'm fine, or I'm a little tired. But fear blocks the words before they even leave your mouth.
Exactly. It's not an English problem. It's a pressure problem. When someone is waiting for your answer, your brain feels like you're being interviewed on live TV, even if it's just one person.
I remember when I was learning another language, I could understand everything. I could read so well. But the moment someone talked to me directly, my heart started racing like crazy. It felt like my brain just unplugged.
Oh, that is so relatable. And learners always blame themselves. They think, why am I like this? Why can't I just speak normally? But nothing is wrong. Your brain is simply protecting you from embarrassment.
Exactly. Your brain is like, no mistakes allowed. We must sound perfect. But of course, that pressure makes you freeze even more.
People always say they're afraid of English, but really, they're afraid of judgment.
Mmm. They're not scared of the language. They're scared of sounding not good enough.
And because of that, silence feels safer. If you don't speak, you can't make mistakes. And if you can't make mistakes, you can't feel embarrassed.
But here's the problem. Silence also means no progress, no growth, no practice.
Right. Fear protects you, but it also limits you. It's like standing next to a swimming pool and waiting to feel ready to jump in. You'll wait forever.
And what people don't realize is their brain actually knows more English than their mouth has ever practiced.
Exactly. Your mouth needs training, real training, not just thinking, not just listening, not just watching videos.
And once you understand this, the fear becomes a little smaller. Not gone, but smaller.
Yeah, and honestly, once fear becomes smaller, you start noticing something interesting. You're actually not bad at speaking. You're just out of practice.
And speaking of practice, there's another big reason people struggle to speak, even when they study every day.
Ah, yes, the whole I study a lot, but I never actually use English issue.
Let's talk about that. So, you know how we talked about fear? Well, there's another reason speaking is hard, and honestly, this one surprises a lot of people.
Yeah, because on paper, it looks like they're doing everything right. They watch English videos, listen to podcasts, read articles, learn vocabulary. Basically, they're drowning in English input.
Right. And they feel proud of that, which is good. But then they come to us and say, "Why can't I speak? I study so much." And I'm like, well, yeah, you study a lot, but you don't actually use the language.
Exactly. It's like going to the gym and watching other people lift weights. You understand the technique, you know how they do it, but your muscles don't grow because you never lifted anything.
That is such an accurate metaphor. Or like watching cooking videos every day and wondering why you still can't make an omelet.
Yes, input alone doesn't build speaking ability because speaking is physical. Your mouth needs practice. Your tongue needs practice. Your brain to mouth connection needs practice.
I think a lot of learners underestimate that. They think speaking is just thinking in English but louder. But no, your mouth needs real training, not mental rehearsal.
Totally. And here's the funny thing. Most learners can form sentences in their head. They can write good English. They can answer questions silently. But when they open their mouth, nothing.
Yeah, I've seen learners who can understand everything in a movie, but when you ask them, "So what did the character say?" they suddenly can't produce a single sentence out loud.
And that's because they practice understanding, but not producing. It's like their English lives in their brain, but not in their mouth yet.
Exactly. And when English stays only in your mind, you become really good at being a silent learner. You know the language, you just don't use it.
And that's where the problem comes in, because speaking is a use it or lose it skill. If you never speak, your brain never gets the signal that speaking is important.
Right. It's like your brain is saying, "Oh, we only need English for listening and reading? Cool, we'll focus on that." And speaking stays weak.
I had a learner once who said, "Leo, I watch English every night. I understand everything, so why can't I talk?" And I asked him, "Well, do you ever practice speaking out loud?" And he said, "Out loud? No, not really."
Yeah, That's the missing piece. People expect speaking to magically appear after enough input. But speaking doesn't appear. You have to activate it.
I love that word, activate, because that's exactly what it is. Your brain is full of English, but you need to turn the switch on, and the switch is speaking.
Yep. And the moment you start using just a little English, even tiny sentences, you finally connect what you know to what you can say.
And honestly, once that connection starts forming, speaking becomes so much easier. A lot of learners are just one small habit away from unlocking their voice.
Speaking of habits, there's one thing people do that really slows them down, and many don't even realize they're doing it.
Ah, yes, the perfection trap?
Exactly. Let's talk about that. All right, the perfection trap. This one is tricky because on the surface, it sounds like a good thing. You know, wanting to speak correctly, wanting nice grammar, wanting the right sentence.
Yeah, perfection sounds positive until it completely stops you from speaking. It's like wanting to clean your whole house, but never starting because you don't have the perfect sponge.
Exactly. And so many learners fall into this mindset. They think, I'll speak when my pronunciation is better. I'll speak when I know more vocabulary. I'll speak when I don't make mistakes anymore. And that someday keeps moving further away.
Right. It's like chasing a bus that never stops. You keep running, but you never actually get on.
And I think the saddest part is this. Learners often know the sentence, but they don't trust themselves to say it. They're thinking, should I say it this way? Or maybe this structure is better. Wait, what if the tense is wrong? Meanwhile, the conversation has already moved on.
Yep, perfection kills timing. And speaking is all about timing. It's about being willing to say something, even if it's not perfect.
You know what I tell students sometimes? Your 70% English is already better than your 0% silence.
That is such a good line. Because honestly, people don't remember your mistakes, but they do remember if you connected with them, even in simple English.
And here's a little secret. Native speakers don't speak perfectly either. We pause. We restart sentences. We say things like, wait, what was I saying? We don't stress about every detail.
True, but learners think they must speak like a perfectly edited textbook, word for word, tone for tone, zero mistakes. It's impossible.
And also unnecessary, because fluency doesn't come from perfection. Fluency comes from comfort. Comfort with small mistakes, comfort with trying, comfort with saying things in your own simple way.
Exactly. And ironically, people who allow themselves to speak imperfectly end up improving faster than people who wait for everything to be perfect.
It's like wanting to learn how to swim, but refusing to get in the water until you're already good at swimming. It just doesn't work that way.
I used to have a student who said, "Leo, I don't want to speak until I sound like a native." And I was like, well, in that case, you might never speak.
Harsh, but true. Speaking well comes after speaking badly, not before.
And honestly, once you let go of perfection, speaking becomes fun. You start experimenting, you start trying new words, and suddenly, English feels lighter.
So if perfection has been holding you back, remember this. Your imperfect English today is the bridge to your confident English tomorrow.
Love that. And now that we've talked about fear, about lack of output, and about perfection, it's a great time to explore something more practical.
Yeah, because people always ask, okay, so what should I do? And the good news is, there's a simple way to start speaking that doesn't require courage, or a partner, or perfect grammar.
Let's get into that.
So, after all this talk about fear and perfection, people always ask us, okay, but how do I actually start speaking? Like today, not someday.
Yeah, and learners usually expect some complicated method, like a special app or a super structured exercise. But honestly, the easiest and fastest way to start speaking is something you can do alone, anytime, anywhere.
Talking to yourself.
Yep, self-talk. The method that sounds weird until you try it.
I know. The first reaction is always, wait, talk to myself? Out loud? But it really works because there's no pressure, no judgment, and no one waiting for your answer.
Exactly. Number one problem, other people. And suddenly you realize, oh, I actually can say sentences. My mouth just needed practice.
And it doesn't need to be anything fancy. You don't need long paragraphs. You don't need perfect grammar. Just tiny sentences.
Yeah, like right when you wake up, you can mumble something like, okay, I'm getting out of bed now. Or, I'm so sleepy. Why is morning so early?
That already counts because you're using English. You're moving your mouth. You're activating the language.
Or when you're brushing your teeth, you can say, I have a meeting today. Or, I'm thinking about lunch already. Just simple stuff.
My favorite is the say what you see method. Look around your room and describe literally anything. This is my jacket. The window is open. My coffee smells amazing. Super basic, but powerful.
And here's the magic. When you do this every day, even for 5 minutes, your mouth slowly gets used to English. And when your mouth gets used to English, real conversations become 10 times easier.
Yeah, because your brain stops panicking. It's like, oh, we've done this before. We know how to move the words out.
Exactly. Self-talk trains the brain-to-mouth connection, which is the part most learners never practice.
Another idea is future talk. Just say your plan out loud. I'm going to the store. I need to finish this project today. I'm meeting a friend this evening.
Or Melo talk, like describing something that happened. I saw a funny dog today. Or, I had a long day at work.
And the cool thing is, you don't need confidence to do this. You gain confidence by doing this.
Right, it's private practice. No mistakes matter. No one is listening. It's just you giving yourself permission to speak.
And honestly, once learners start this habit, they always say, wow, speaking feels easier now. I didn't know it could feel like this.
Yeah, because they finally stop being silent learners. They start becoming active years. And that's where everything changes.
And of course, speaking alone is great. But speaking with another person, that's a whole new level.
Yep, let's talk about that next.
So, after learners try self talk for a while, the next question is always, okay, but do I need someone to practice with? And the answer is not at first, but eventually, yes. Because speaking with another person gives you something self practice can't.
Yeah, it gives you pressure, but like the healthy kind. The kind that makes your brain go, oh, someone is talking to me. I guess we're doing this for real now.
Exactly. And people think a language partner needs to be a native speaker. But honestly, another learner can be just as helpful and sometimes even better.
Yeah, because both of you are in the same boat. You're trying, you're messing up, you're laughing through the mistakes. It feels less like a test and more like teamwork.
I once practiced a second language with someone whose level was basically the same as mine. And honestly, we improved way faster together than when we practiced alone.
Same. There's something about talking to another learner, you just feel safer. Like, you mispronounced that word? Great. I mispronounced three today.
And there's this nice thing that happens when your partner says a word you know, but you've never used before. Suddenly your brain goes, hey, maybe I can try that too.
Yeah, you learn from each other without even planning it. No textbooks, no rules, just natural language exchange.
People also imagine they need long sessions, like an hour every time. But short chats are actually the best.
Yes, 10 minutes is perfect. 15 is great. Even 5 minutes works. Because the goal is not a lesson. The goal is activation.
And you don't even need to call. You can send voice messages back and forth. Most learners feel less nervous that way.
Yeah, it gives you time to think, but you're still using your voice, which is the whole point.
And the funniest thing? Most language partners become friends eventually. You start with, okay, let's practice English. And suddenly you're talking about your weekend and your favorite snacks.
Snack conversations are the best conversations. I stand by that.
So the real magic of a language partner is this. They don't just help you speak, they make speaking feel normal.
Yeah, not a test, not a performance, not something scary, just a conversation.
And once speaking feels normal, your fear becomes smaller and smaller.
All right, now, we've talked about speaking alone, we've talked about speaking with a partner, but there's one more place where learners can grow a lot, and they often don't realize it.
Yep, those tiny, everyday interactions that don't look like practice, but secretly train your speaking muscles.
Let's get into that.
Okay, so we've talked about practicing alone and practicing with a partner. But there's one more source of practice that people completely underestimate.
Yeah, the tiny moments, the kind that last maybe 5 seconds, but somehow teach your brain more than a whole lesson.
Exactly. I call them micro conversations. Little interactions you have with strangers, cashiers, neighbors, coworkers, anyone, really.
And what's cool is you don't need to be fluent for these. You don't need advanced grammar. Sometimes one sentence is enough.
Right. Like buying a coffee. Just saying, hi, can I get a medium latte? That counts. Your mouth is moving, your brain is switching to English. That's real practice.
My favorite example is asking for directions. Something tiny like, Excuse me, does this bus go downtown? 2 seconds, conversation finished, but boom, your speaking muscle just got a workout.
And the best part? There's zero commitment. You're not stuck in a long conversation. You're just dropping a quick sentence and walking away. So the pressure is super low.
Exactly. It's like speaking English with training wheels. You use it just a little, and then you're done.
You can even practice micro conversations at work, saying, "Morning, how's everything?" Or, "Can you help me with this?" Small things, but so effective.
Yeah, because you're teaching your brain, this is normal. English is something I use, not something I study.
And honestly, once learners start doing this, they're always surprised. They come back and say, "Oh, wow, people were so nice. Nobody judged me. Some even smiled."
Yeah, because most people, native speakers especially, admire anyone who tries to speak their language. They're not thinking, your grammar is wrong. They're thinking, hey, cool, you're trying.
And that's why these small moments matter. They build confidence quietly, not through long lessons, but through little wins that add up.
I love that. Little wins. Because that's what speaking really is. It's not one big moment of fluency, it's hundreds of tiny moments where you choose to speak, even if it's just one short sentence.
Exactly. And over time, those tiny sentences start forming bigger ones. Your brain becomes faster. Your mouth becomes more comfortable. And suddenly you realize, wait, speaking English doesn't feel scary anymore.
So, to everyone listening, remember this: you don't need perfect grammar. You just need small moments, small tries, small sentences, small steps. That's how confidence grows.
And honestly, the fact that you're here, listening and trying to improve, already shows you're moving in the right direction.
Yeah, every learner we've seen who improved didn't do it through perfection. They did it through consistency and by giving themselves more chances to speak.
All right, that's the end of today's episode. Thank you for spending your time with us. We hope this conversation gives you a little more courage and a few ideas you can actually use.
Take care, everyone. Keep speaking. Even one sentence a day is enough to change your English.
See you in the next episode.
Bye for now.